Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to speak about a subject of, is peace possible? Is it possible for the world to actually be 100% at peace and free of wars and everybody's generous and helping each other? Well, honestly, yeah, possible? Yes. Doable? I don't know. In theory, definitely it's possible. But the problem is that we'd have to go against a lot of the instincts that are given to us by the fact just that we're animals in some way. We're mammals, and we have all these emotions, and we have greed. Especially a lot of greed really makes a big difference if you really think about it, because the problem is, in order to get peace, everybody should technically be wanting to collaborate with each other in a way that they're not putting money within their pockets, but they're helping the other people out. If you really think about it, there's so many homes that are empty all year long. There's so many people. Okay, it's a simple example. I was on the bus for many years, and you would see a lot of cars going in the direction that you're going, and sometimes you'd be in a hurry. But can you just step into somebody else's car that's actually probably going in the same street as you, at the same exact place, and call it a day? No, because the thing is that in practice, for example, when I drive, I wouldn't care if somebody hopped in some way if I knew that that person was honest and they didn't want to cheat me or steal my car or do something bad to me. So at the same time, what happens is that people protect themselves. So they protect themselves by not letting people within their sight, and they're apprehensive. They don't like change, so you get comfortable with the people that you know, and you make friends, and then the friends that you have are basically the people that you trust. So if you trust these people, then you're not going to open yourself up to new people because you don't really know if you can trust them. So it kind of goes in the same way with countries. There's countries that are trustworthy in some way with amongst each other because they've dealt with each other for many years, but at the same time we're very apprehensive of them because we know that, I think it's in humankind, it's just mankind, we just tend to steal, and we tend to do things that are going to help us and the family around us, and not always the people around us. But then what's funny is that at the same time, we don't just steal and think bad things. We also do good things around us, and we do try to help for the most part. I think most times when people are cold or apprehensive, it's not really that they're mean or they don't like you or whatever. It's that you're somebody new and they're like, who are you? Like, why, what's happening? What do you want from me? What's happening? We do cross millions of people throughout our life on the street and stuff like that, but if you really think about it on a daily basis, how many people when you cross or walk in the street do you actually say hello to and are very friendly to them? Not many. Once in a while it happens that you have a conversation with someone, and at the same time what happens is that a lot of people complain that they're unhappy and that they're just alone. But the thing is, it's really complicated not to have war at this point, because what's happening is the wealthy people who have a lot of money, they basically make money from war. Every time that there's been a war, governments, countries have benefited from that and become very wealthy from that. Even in medicine, for example, during the Second World War, it's really sad what happened. It was horrible. But Germany at the time was super poor, and I guess they fought in that way, and it was ignorant, it was bad. But then, crazily enough, if you look statistically, the medical advances that were done during those times was enormous, because they were testing all these things on people, and they didn't have the same kind of set rules and stuff. and a ton of technological warfare advanced so much during that time, and probably would have taken 20 years to advance in the same way that they advanced in that 5-year span. And that's the crazy thing. A lot of evolution always comes from wars eventually, because change happens, if that makes sense. And I'm totally against wars. I wish we didn't have them. I think most people don't want to live in a state of fear. But think about it now. For example, people from Central America and South America were trying to forcibly cross the border into America, and they were throwing tear gas at them, and families were separated. And I heard even that a bunch of kids died from dehydration because they were separated from their families, and they weren't even giving them water. It's really not humane. It's sad that we got to that point, and I know that they're doing their job, and at the same time, what sucks is that no matter what, if you don't want immigrants or whatever in your country, the thing is that if you were in that position where you were in the middle of a war, our instinct as humans is we want to survive, right? We don't want to die, and if you're alive, like you want to be in fear. And so out of desperation, what you do is, as you travel, you go to other places. It's happened for generations throughout the whole 200,000 years of mankind. And even if you look at animals, if the situation with the weather, the circumstances of how it is in that place are not working out, and you're not able to feed yourself and be safe, well, what do you do? There's that instinct of survival that comes, and you do what you need to do. And unfortunately, in those countries, they're so corrupt that they have no other means, and they're poor and they're illiterate, and they don't just are able to do it the legal way, if that makes sense. And even if you want to do it the legal way, there is no way, because it's a catch-22, because you can't actually get into the country but without having money, because they'd have to show a proof of having a certain amount of cash that's impossible for them to get in order to come as tourists, and then they can overstay their tourist visa, and then they could apply for asylum and stuff like that. And even that would take 10 years, and then during that time they're supposed to work illegally. And then ironically what happens is that the people who are rich, they hire these people to build their houses, and to fix their cars, and to take care of their children, literally, and to cook their food, because they're the ones hiring, because they're rich. And what they're doing is that they're trying to save money, so they hire the same people that they're trying to get out of the country. So it's a vicious circle. There is no real answer to that. And unfortunately, the real reality of it is that, yeah, in practice, it'd be nice to have peace on earth. But the greed, the fact that stuff like communism is amazing on paper, where everybody has a certain amount of money, there's nobody who's rich, wealthy, poor, they're all at the same level, they all get food guaranteed and a roof guaranteed, but you're never going to be rich, but you're going to be at that same level. What happens is, again, you watch TV, you watch other countries, you watch your neighbor who for some reason has an extra television or an extra car or an extra nice pair of shoes, and people get greedy, so they try to find ways where you can actually get that extra stuff and basically have a better life. And it's such the only way really would be if people were less greedy, and that's not very easy to have, because people in general are just going to be greedy. And there's going to be empty houses in all these countries. I can guarantee you that I can walk in the street and there's a bunch of empty places, and at the same time, for all these empty places, there's probably less homeless people on the street than the empty places all over this country or that country. And that's really ironic in some way, but that's all I really have to say about it. But yeah, peace is possible. Okay, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.